He wasn't just born to rule, he was destined to conquer. Trained by Aristotle, inspired by Achilles, and driven by an unshakable will. At 20, he wore the crown. By 30, he held the world. His army marched farther than any before him. His ambition knew no borders, no limits. A strategist, a warrior, a visionary. Alexander the Great didn't follow history. He carved his name into it. Macedonia, 356 BC. Born to King Philip II and Queen Olympias, Alexander's childhood was shaped by ambition, war, and prophecy. His mother whispered that he was the son of Zeus. His father showed him the sword and the throne. At 13, Alexander tamed the wild horse Bucephalus, a feat no grown man could match. His tutor? None other than Aristotle, who filled the boy's mind with philosophy, science, and dreams of glory. By 16, Alexander was leading armies. By 18, he fought at his father's side at the Battle of Chaeronea, crushing the Greek city-states and proving himself a commander. But destiny was impatient. In 336 BC, King Philip was assassinated. At just 20, Alexander seized the throne. He moved swiftly, eliminating rivals, uniting Macedonia, and crushing a rebellion in Thebes so brutally that the city was razed, its people sold into slavery. The message was clear. Defy Alexander and face annihilation. Alexander inherited more than a kingdom. He inherited a dream. His father had planned to invade the mighty Persian Empire. Now Alexander would finish what Philip began. In 334 BC, he crossed the Hellespont with 40,000 men, infantry, cavalry, engineers, and dreamers. He visited Troy, paying homage to Achilles, his legendary ancestor, then marched east to meet the Persian armies. At the river Granicus, Alexander led a daring cavalry charge, nearly dying in the melee. But his audacity shattered the Persians. Victory followed victory. At Issus, he faced King Darius III himself. Outnumbered, Alexander's tactics and the unbreakable Macedonian phalanx turned the tide. Darius fled, leaving his family and his empire behind. But Persia would not fall easily. The island city of Tyre defied him, trusting its mighty walls in the sea. Alexander's answer? Build a causeway, drag siege towers across the water, and storm the city after a brutal 7-month siege. Tyre fell. The message was clear. No fortress was safe. Alexander marched south, welcomed as a liberator in Egypt. At the oasis of Siwa, the oracle of Zeus Ammon greeted him as a god's son. On the Nile's edge, he founded Alexandria, a city that would outlast empires. In 331 BC, Alexander faced Darius again at Gaugamela. The Persian numbers dwarfed his own, but Alexander's strategy was flawless. He broke through the Persian lines, sending Darius fleeing for his life. Now Alexander was king of Asia. He entered Babylon in triumph, then Susa and Persepolis, the heart of Persia. In Persepolis, he let his men loot and burn the city, a symbolic end to centuries of Persian rule. But conquest was never enough. Alexander pressed east, chasing Darius, who was murdered by his own men. With Persia fallen, Alexander claimed the title King of Kings. But he was not finished. Alexander's gaze turned to the horizon. He led his army through deserts, mountains, and endless battles, into Bactria, Sogdiana, and beyond. In 327 BC, he crossed the Hindu Kush into India, splitting his army and storming the fortress of Aornos, a feat thought impossible. In 326 BC, he met King Porus at the Hydaspes River. Elephants thundered against Macedonian steel. The battle was fierce, Alexander's tactics and courage prevailed, but at a cost. He founded new cities, Alexandria Nicaea to celebrate victory, and Bucephala in memory of his beloved horse, Bucephalus, who died after the battle. But at the river Baz, his men refused to march further. Exhausted, homesick, and battered, they begged to return. For the first time, Alexander turned back. The journey home was a trial. Alexander led his army through the deadly Gedrosian desert, where thirst and heat claimed thousands. He returned to Persia, marrying Roxana, a Bactrian princess, and encouraging his men to take Persian wives, hoping to unite his vast empire through blood and culture. In Susa, he staged a mass wedding. Thousands of Macedonians and Persians joined in marriage, a symbol of unity. But not all were pleased. Old loyalties clashed with new ambitions. Alexander's relentless drive bred suspicion and revolt among his officers. He executed close friends, including his general Parmenion and even his companion Clitus in a drunken rage. In 323 BC, Alexander reached Babylon, planning new campaigns, Arabia, perhaps even beyond. But suddenly he fell ill. Fever racked his body. For days he could neither speak nor move. On June 13th, 323 BC, at just 32 years old, Alexander the Great died. He left no clear heir. His generals, known as the Diadochi, would tear his empire apart in bloody wars. His body was laid in a golden sarcophagus, lost to history. His tomb remains one of the world's great mysteries. Alexander's empire did not survive him, but his legacy did. He founded over 20 cities named Alexandria, spreading Greek language, art, and science from Egypt to India. His conquests blended East and West, giving rise to the Hellenistic Age, a fusion of cultures that shaped the ancient world for centuries. Greek became the language of trade, science, and philosophy. Buddhist art in India borrowed from Greek models. The New Testament would be written in Greek, the language Alexander spoke. For 1,000 years his legend grew. To some he was a god, to others a ruthless conqueror. But all agreed, no one before or since changed the world so swiftly or so completely. His tactics are still studied in military academies. His name is a byword for greatness. He was Alexander, the man who reached for the edge of the world and whose shadow still falls across history.